Picture the memory bill for a long conversation with a large language model. Every token it has already read gets stored in something called the KV cache, and that cache balloons as the context grows, eating gigabytes of precious GPU memory. Here's the problem. A few channels inside those key and value vectors carry wildly large values, outliers that wreck any attempt to squeeze the numbers down to just a few bits. PolarQuant, the first stage of Google Research's TurboQuant, has a beautifully simple fix. Spin the vectors with a random rotation first. Let's see how that actually works. Look, the whole idea is a short pipeline. A raw vector full of outliers goes in, gets rotated, spreads out, and comes out ready to quantize. Follow it one block at a time. Every attention layer stores a key and a value vector for every token it has seen. The trouble is that variance is not spread evenly. A handful of channels spike far above the rest, and those outliers force the quantizer to waste its limited range covering the extremes, leaving too little precision for everything else. Now comes the clever step. PolarQuant multiplies each key and value vector by a random orthogonal rotation matrix. Because the rotation is orthogonal, it preserves lengths and inner products exactly, so the attention math is left mathematically untouched. Nothing about the model's meaning changes, yet the vector is now pointing in a fresh, scrambled direction. Once that rotation lands, the energy that used to pile up in a few loud channels gets smeared uniformly across every coordinate. The distribution flattens out, the outliers effectively vanish, and every dimension now looks statistically similar. That uniformity is the whole point because it lets a single, analytically computed scalar quantizer handle all coordinates well. With variance spread evenly, each coordinate can be rounded down to very few bits with almost no damage. TurboQuant runs this at 3-bit precision, reporting at least a 6 times memory reduction and up to 8 times faster attention on NVIDIA H100 GPUs, landing within roughly 2.7 of the information theoretic limit. So why bother spinning the vectors at all? Here's the naive way and the PolarQuant way laid side by side. Consider the naive approach, quantizing the raw cache directly. You pick a scale that must stretch to cover those extreme outlier channels, and that single stretched range leaves ordinary values represented by only a coarse handful of levels. Push down to 3 or 4 bits this way, and accuracy falls apart, which is exactly why early KV quantization struggled. Rotation changes the game entirely. By redistributing variance uniformly first, PolarQuant removes the outliers that force that wasteful scale, so a plain scalar quantizer now fits every coordinate tightly. And because the rotation matrix is random rather than learned, it works on any model at inference time, with no offline calibration or preparation step at all. Strip it back, and 3 ideas make PolarQuant genuinely elegant. The rotation is drawn at random, not trained. That sounds surprising, yet a random orthogonal matrix is precisely what spreads variance most evenly, so there is no dataset to gather and no fine-tuning to run before you can put to work. Because the matrices are random rather than learned, PolarQuant plugs into any existing model straight away at inference time. There is no offline preparation and no per-model tuning. Just rotate, then quantize. That plug-and-play property is what makes it practical to deploy at real scale. Inside the full TurboQuant pipeline, PolarQuant is only stage 1. A second stage adds a 1-bit quantized Johnson-Lindenstrauss correction to the leftover residual, giving an unbiased estimate of the attention inner products and tightening accuracy even further. All right, let's lock in what matters. PolarQuant is the first stage of Google Research's TurboQuant, accepted at ISTATS 2026, and it compresses the KV cache by rotating vectors before quantizing them. The core trick is a random orthogonal rotation that redistributes variance evenly across all coordinates, making outlier channels disappear, so a simple scalar quantizer works. That even spread lets the cache drop to 3-bit precision, delivering at least 6 times memory savings and up to 8 times faster attention on H100 GPUs. Because the rotation is random, not learned, it drops into any model at inference with no calibration. Want more AI research made simple? Come explore it with us over at standarity.com.